Hello, Ari.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm nervous, but I'm good.
Don't be nervous. It's just us chatting.
Also, I'm excited because this is one of those ideas where we have toyed and practiced a very long time, but we have promised ourselves that this is it. This is going to be the final version. I'm going to edit it and then send it out into the world.
I mean, it's always going to be a little bit nerve-wracking. Like with any creative expression, you can make it, you can do your absolute best, you can be super proud of it, but the moment you put it out into the world, people will have opinions, and everybody always has their own opinion.
I mean, if I really wanted people to have an opinion, I would tell people how long we've been practicing doing this. It's actually a shockingly long time we've been practicing. It's embarrassing how long I have made my wife sit here and record podcasts with me for them to go nowhere. I'm quite surprised that, she is still here. I'm gonna be honest. Welcome to the UK Planner Podcast. In this episode, we talk about why my wife, who is from America, is on the UK Planner Podcast, why we think travelling via stationery shops is the best way to travel, obviously, and also why we think this summer will be your summer of planning. I'm Ash. I am the full-time host of the UK Planner podcast. I'm not saying that because this is my full-time job, but because unfortunately you guys are going to hear my voice every single week. And on my right is the part-time host of the UK Planner podcast, Miss Ari, the part-time host, the full-time best planner in our household.
I don't think that's true, but that's very cute of you to say.
So before we go any further, should we talk about the fact that you have an American accent? What are you doing on the UK Planner podcast?
I'm deeply committed to the UK planner community. That's what I'm doing here.
We should probably say that you do actually live in the UK now, that you're not just like Skyping in from like Boston or something.
Indeed. Although I could be, you never know. I could be coming in every weekend to record this.
Would not want to pay for those air miles.
Think of all the rewards points.
At that point, I'd rather you be doing this over Zoom.
True, but you wouldn't get to see my face. No, I do live in the UK. I have for almost 2 years now.
Yeah, no, long were the days where you used to get things for me at American prices, like American brands at American prices, and then you would like bring it to me on your next trip.
Do you miss Michael's?
My happy planner phase really fell really well with when you were in America because you could then just go to a Joann's or a Michael's and get something from the clearance section for me if I'd been like eyeing it up for ages. Like that was something that we always used to put in our trips when I used to come over and visit you was going to planner shops. That was something that I really enjoyed. But like I don't miss it as much ironically now because I don't really use American brands.
I miss the days where I could just like drive to a Michael's or a Joann's and easily get there. But I think neither of us really use big store stickers anymore. Like we have really shifted to using small shops and small artists.
Yeah, I don't feel like they have a monopoly on, like, a load of people in the planner community. I think it's ironic. I think if you're using a certain type of planner, you only see those planners on Instagram because obviously you follow other people who use that one, or if, like, for example, your friend uses a different one, you might see it like that as well. I think it's easy to think there's, like, only 2 or 3 brands when it comes to, like, planners when, like, for example, if you only focus on those planners.
I think that because people naturally are inclined to follow people who are creating layouts and spreads like they are, that you'll see that. I think years ago, there were kind of three camps. You were either a bullet journaler, so you would use some type of journal and kind of create your own spreads. There were EC, and then there were Happy Planner. And there were, of course, the other few in between that you said, but
Yeah, I agree, and I think that ironically, I think it's fairer in the UK because I think that without that kind of big monopoly on certain brands, I think that smaller businesses can really thrive over here. Like, I think that for me, I would rather the people getting bigger shares of the money were like your, for example, your Emily Harveys or your Sunshine Lanes or things like that, where you really get to know the owner. It's not a big thing where there's like, 50 employees and it's all, I really prefer the kind of homegrown feeling.
I think one thing that's really nice about the UK planning community is that there have been so many more shops and artists that have opened up in the last few years that have started sharing their artwork, sharing their graphic design, really bringing in new creative things into the space. Because years ago, I think there was a kit for EC and a kit for Happy Planner, and most things were very much this is how it's done, this is the template. But over the last few years, we've really seen a lot more new styles, new layouts, new sticker kit setups that have been really nice, especially when we've gotten a chance to meet the artists, meet the shop owners, and get to hear about what inspired them, where their designs came from, all the work and the time they put in building their shops.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that once upon a time, those people might not even have considered the planner community. They might not have even thought about designing stickers and washi and such. They were just really talented and passionate artists, and it's kind of benefits both ways, doesn't it?
The planner community has always been in kind of this flux, and as not that we're economic researchers, but as the economy has gotten more challenging over the last few years, people have had to pull back a little bit on their shopping, which is totally understandable. At the end of the day, if your choice is groceries or a sticker kit, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to choose the groceries, and that's fair. I think that maybe around 2018, 2019, we really saw folks creating very lavish spreads, which were beautiful. And some people still, that's very much their aesthetic, and it's still really nice. But over the last few years, I think I've seen, in my personal opinion, a shift into trying to use more of what we already have.
We should probably also tell people we do live in London, like, because we could be in anywhere. We could be anywhere in the UK. I don't know. Maybe people can tell my London accent. I don't know. But yes, we live in London.
I always try to look for a washi of the city or the country you've gone to. So far, I successfully have a Glasgow washi, an Edinburgh washi, and a Hong Kong washi.
So, what was it like shopping in East Asia?
Man, there was washi everywhere. I'm not complaining at all. It was amazing. I found so many wonderful shops, so many great places to find goodies that are not as easily accessible in the UK. And I also met some really lovely shop owners. There's were a few really lovely shops there that were owned and run by one was by a couple, Gift Idea in Hong Kong, really lovely couple. Um, and then another called the Paper Tree Co., also a small business, had some really beautiful local artist work and stationery made by local artists, which whenever we go places, I always try to look for local art and local artists. I think that getting to bring back something that will remind me of the trip is one of my favorite things to do.
That's true. Like when we've gone on cruises and stuff in the past, we've actually used going to stationery shops as kind of like our guide of where we want to go when we come into port. And it's actually really interesting to see kind of different brands that maybe we wouldn't have seen, or sometimes even we'll find things that like are in the UK, but they're like cheaper, for example, in France.
Yeah. And to meet the local folks too. I think that's always a really good time. So last weekend we were up in Glasgow and we got to see a couple shop owners that had expanded since the last time we'd been there, had moved shops to something even bigger so they could have bigger collections, which was really cool.
Yeah, we went to, was it called the Hidden Alley or is it Hidden Lane? I can never remember.
Hidden Lane.
Hidden Lane. Yes, and what's really great about that in Glasgow is that it's like a reused kind of, it looks like a reused workshop, like an old car, like, garage that they've kind of just, like, taken certain sections and put lots of, like, outdoor doors on it to make, like, a little shopping village, but it's a tiny, tiny thing, like, maybe there's, like, I don't know, like 7 shops maximum, and, like, they're all different ones, but a few of them are stationery shops. It was really amazing to see kind of all the different local businesses and small businesses.
Yeah, and to see some familiar faces who actually did remember us from when we were back last August. Um,
Yeah.
One of the shop owners had a brand new design, and you currently own the only and first tote bag with this design on it.
Yes, that is the kind of the really cool thing about, again, small businesses in the UK is that, like, or small businesses in general, I suppose, is that, like, you actually get to talk to them about their process and, sometimes they might be like, "Oh, yeah, this is just, like, a sample. I wanna see kind of how many of these I can sell." And, like, you're like, "Oh my god, this is so special."
Yeah, I think that it's always really nice to see how the shops grow as well, because we got to see a few designs that originally were just stickers, and now there's a washi of them. Um, or getting to see the one shop, I think Curate and Gifted, was originally in a much smaller space in the hidden lane, but now has moved to a corner shop that's twice as big.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you get to talk to shop owners that, like, as they grow and stuff, and they, like, remember their customers that come back. Like, we have only seen this lady, like, twice, and she remembered us because we had gone up to Glasgow last year for the Scotland Planner Meet, and she remembered us, even though she hadn't even gone to the Scotland Planner Meet, but we had kind of gone to her shop before we had gone, and we were, like, telling her about it and stuff. She remembered, which is, like, so special.
Yeah.
The other reason we like to travel is to go to planner events. Hey, how was that as a segue? That was a pretty good segue.
Wow. Much segue. Amaze.
That's why I'm the full-time host, because of my great segue skills.
Yeah.
Moving on from your unimpressedness. Yes, I love a planner event. I am known for my love of planner events. Well, I'm not known for it, like, not publicly, but in this household, I'm always like, I found another planner event. We have to go. We have to go. We have to go. So, keeping up with those deets. There's 3 that are currently on the horizon, and we're not just talking about Planner Fest, Journal Fest, and Stationery Fest.
No, that's all one event.
That is all one event, and that's should we have that as the first one we talk about? Let's do it. And this is the only one that we haven't actually been to, so we're basing this off of intense watching of YouTube videos of other people going to this event and looking at the Instagram page.
It does look really nice. It's a one-day event, but you can go to the event 3 different ways.
It's like a build your own adventure, but for planning.
And you do love you a build your own adventure.
Yes, and that one is on the 29th of June?
Yes.
Yes, and in Manchester, I believe it's at Manchester Central, which is a convention centre. And it's also, I believe, a disused train station, which I love trains, so that's amazing.
Which would combine a few of your favorite things, stationery, trains, and choose your own adventure.
It would. It would. So I'm surprised that we have never been to this event, you know. We're slacker-lacking here.
In our defense, last year it was during London Pride, and so we ended up going to London Pride instead. But this year, I think there is a possibility we'll be able to go.
We will have to see if the planet gods do allow. But from my research, it does look amazing. It looks like if you Googled Etsy, clicked on Etsy, then put in planner shops, pressed enter, and then Etsy physically gave you all of those planner shops, that would be the event. It looks like it's gonna have massive amount of planner shops. I'm so excited I'm not speaking grammatically correct.
You're also speaking like you're the local stationery IT, so thanks for that walkthrough.
You're welcome. But the thing is that I'm really also excited because it has like talks and workshops. It has a swaps table, goodie bag. So it has like all of the elements of a really good planner event. So again, on paper, this looks like a really good event. It's a one-day event as well, which I think is really good for people who maybe can't commit to like a Saturday, Sunday situation.
Yeah, having a one-day event I think is really good because then you can also check out the city if you've never actually been there. Like, I've never actually been to Manchester before. So if we were to go, it'd be great if we could have one day for the event and one day to see the city like we did with the Scotland Planner Meet last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think this is the thing, is people only have so much annual leave. So, for example, if you are a local to Manchester and you work on weekends, this is a great event. You know, you don't feel like, oh, I've missed half of it. But there are generally tickets available for both adults and children. That's the other thing I like about this event. Children can come, which is great if you're a parent. We're not parents, we're parents to an amazing assistance dog. But, I appreciate it for the people who are parents.
Yeah, and that's great for folks that have children. The one day event is also really good for folks who maybe don't have the social battery to do 2 days. So I like the idea of having an event that's a little bit shorter so that you can have some downtime before your work week if you're a Monday to Friday worker.
Yes, so if you want an event where you have so many shops that you may even be tempted to put a mortgage on your house, this one is the one for you.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. We are not financial advisors. We are not telling you to get a mortgage or to liquidate your whole life savings. Please don't do that. Take a look at your finances. If it's within your means to attend and do some shopping, awesome, do that. But do not risk your entire life savings on a single event. We do not recommend.
Fine, fine. Maybe we should talk about a smaller event. Should we talk about the Scotland Planner Meet?
Yes, this was such a good time last year. It was my first time going into Glasgow, and last year it was a 1 day event, but this year it's two. Well, one and a half.
Yes, I believe that they're having a evening section on the Saturday, the 31st of August. That will be slumber party themed, and then the full day event on the Sunday, the 1st of September, will just be. I don't think that one's themed. I think it's just the Scotland Planner Meet.
Yeah. And they're gonna be in the same hotel as last year, right?
Yes, I believe it was a Premier Inn. It was really lovely. I liked the space. I liked the staff. I liked the fact that, we could go upstairs, rest a bit, and then come down for the actual event. Also, it's purposely quite a small meet. They actually have a really strong cap on about 40 or 50 people, which I appreciate because if you're wanting an event where you're not going to get overwhelmed with the amount of people or you actually want to talk to everyone who's at the event, this is much more suited. I really liked that, and I liked the fact that instead of us having individual tables, we kind of were all in a big U shape, which was really nice because it meant that there wasn't the pressure to also have table gifts or anything like that. You could kind of just, sit next to maybe someone you already know or someone that, you didn't know but you wanted to get to know. And that was really nice. And the food was included, which is always a really nice plus. I've been to a few events where the food isn't included, or like maybe like it's just snacks. And that's always like a worry, like for a whole day event. Like if they're like, oh yeah, come back in like half an hour, you're like, oh, I've now got to look around, find somewhere to eat, bring it back. Am I allowed to eat it at the event? Do I need to eat it off the premises? But I think when events actually include food, it is such a lifesaver.
Yeah, I really liked the way that the event was set up too. So we got basically all of the conference space on the ground floor. And so there were two main rooms, the room where all the workshops were with the big U table, and then the room with all the shops. So the shops could have everything set up, but close off that room so they could come and participate in the workshops without worrying about having to sit over their tables. And then in addition to that, there was also kind of a lounge area in the front of the space where people could go if they needed a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, and some quiet time, especially if you're getting a little too stimulated or a little too socialed out. There's a space where you can go to just sit and breathe for a second without being so far away that you're leaving the whole event.
Yeah, and I really liked the fact that every single shop owner ran a different workshop, which meant that then each time it was time to do more shopping, you kind of knew a bit more about one of the stalls and you kind of knew a bit more about the person running the stall.
The great thing about this event too is that it's very local. So some folks do travel in, and that's wonderful. Like we traveled in from London because we were very curious and maybe a little bit nosy about what was going on up there. But for folks who can't make it all the way down to the south, it's nice to have a really well established, really fun event that is a lot easier to get to if you're up north.
Yes, it was well worth the journey. And then another journey we did last year was to Taunton for the Southwest Planner Club's event last July. Now, this year, their event is in September, and I believe it's the 14th and 15th, right?
Yes, it is over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Last year, we were a bit overwhelmed with how much swag we got. I think even the people who had gone the previous year weren't prepared for the amount of swag we got.
Yeah. And last year, because you were trying to get us to pack lighter because you always complain that I pack too much, even though I think I packed the perfect amount. So we only took one suitcase between the two of us. And then we ended up both having these huge overflowing totes that we were trying to walk around with that kept dropping things because there was just so much stuff to take home with us.
We got about 3 totes. That's 3 totes in total, which is fun to say, but also a lot of stuff. Plus, we had, like, stuff in our suitcases. I will apologise for not being prepared for the Southwest Planner Club's event. The way it worked last year was that on the Sunday was the more traditional planner event, and then the Saturday.
You're a planner and you don't remember the order of the days of the week?
You know what, Ari? I don't. I'm sorry. Okay, I got this, I got this. Yeah, because like, the way it worked last year was on the Saturday, there were make and takes during the day, as well as a cream tea, and then in the evening, we all got in our pajamas, and there was more kind of, like, structured workshops and games, and then on the Sunday, that was when it was more the traditional kind of planner event with, like, everyone was there, because I believe you could only buy tickets, like a one-day ticket for the Sunday, but then you could also have a two-day ticket for the Saturday and the Sunday. But yes, everyone was there on the Sunday, and we were all like in the kind of more traditional setup with the tables, and we all had table mates and things like that.
This year, it's going to be one ticket for both days. Everyone will be there the whole weekend, which is really going to be lovely. I'm really excited to see what kind of workshops we have this year. Last year, I really loved the glass workshop that we had, and I still use that glass pretty regularly, actually.
Yeah, that was really fun on the Sunday, decorating those glasses and stuff. And then we also had, was it like the window glass that on the Saturday evening?
Yes, we actually still have the window hang up in one of our windows of your little alien.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was really fun. Was it an alien? I can't remember. Honestly, I'm not looking at that window now, so I can't tell. But yes, it was really fun, and that was the thing, is I felt like it was a really strong event when it comes to, like, things like the workshops and obviously, again, the swag, um,
Yes.
and yes, I believe this is one where, once again, we will get food. I know that Holly has just announced that we're getting pizza. I think it's on the Saturday night, which is really exciting. I love pizza. I know you're not a fan of pizza, but because you're not a fan of pizza, I don't get to have pizza that often, so I'm excited for the pizza.
I won't stop you from having pizza. You can have pizza. I'll just have my fried rice, and you can have pizza.
Okay, tonight you can have fried rice and I'm gonna have pizza. But yes, I've heard it's gonna be like wood-fired kind of pizza. I'm really excited. And there it is. That is our 3 events that make up our summer of planning. I'm really excited as more event details come out for all 3 of these events. I'm going to be definitely tracking all 3 of their social medias and things like that. If you're going to any of these events, or if you're going to all 3 of the events, please, please, please let us know. And if you are listening on Spotify, you can send in an audio clip, and we would love to hear people talking about the events if they're going, or, generally what your thoughts are on anything we've spoken about on this episode. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed the episode. Make sure to check out all the links below. We're going to tag all the events and shops and things that we've mentioned in this episode. So please go check them out. We hope that we will get to see you at some events and hear from you on our social Instagram. We are the UK Planner Podcast.
Thank you so much for the pleasure of your time of listening to our episode. And I hope you have a lovely day. I hope that your washi is straight and that your stickers go where you want to place them. Bye.
That ending is so cheesy.
One more.
Oh my.
This is my part-time wife. Part-time wife? Whoa.
Hard time
No.
life. Excuse you. How
No.
dare.